So, a partnership that has yielded, what, just 18 runs. The first wicket fell when there was not a run on the board. And as Hodge departs, Carty now makes his way in the middle. So a lot is going to depend on these two batsmen. If they are to get anywhere in the region of 190 yard, which is required for victory. But I think what is required is a partnership between these two batters. Windward Islands Volcanoes, of course, they're in a hurdle, and they have all reasons to be. And Charmaine Lewis so far has picked up the 2 wickets to have fallen. First, he had Gregorio Ritchie bowled off stump for no score, and now Hodge caught at mid-off by Yazdam for 1. Peters so far has struck 2 massive sixes in his 15, and that's the latest score here. We're in over number 3. And of course, Lewis, who has played a test match for the West Indies team back in India, is now to 20 for the loss of Ritchie and Hodge. So Charmaine Lewis seemed to be very jovial. Turns before us as he goes into bowl to Peters once more. And Peters is across the off stump and then driving. There's a loud appeal, the ball angling down the onside. Appeal more of hope than conviction coming from Emmanuel Stewart. Not much supported that appeal, which clearly indicated the ball would have gone on to miss the leg stump and even over the top. That is the end of that, and Peters waits for Lewis to come into bowl to him one more time. Slipper point to third man, the extra cover mid-off, all waits in the offside as Lewis goes away from us now to bowl to Peters. Peters gets the delivery, which beats him outside the line of the off stump. A delivery that kept a trifle low and through to Emmanuel Stewart on the bounce, and there's no damage done. Total 20 for no loss. And of course, you're listening to Cricket Nagico Invitational Cup 2019 tournament being staged by Nagico and of course the auspices of the St. Maarten Cricket Association. Here is Lewis as he goes into bowl to Peters. And Peters gets the delivery, which he walks off the pad. In fact, he made no contact and the ball has gone down to the boundary for 4 extras. So the total will advance by 4 leg byes to 24 for the loss of 2. And Sherman Lewis really losing his direction there. And the ball really staying low. And Emmanuel Stewart coming across was unable to make that save. The ball has gone away for 4 extras. So the ball has made contact with Peters' pads. And the total advances by that boundary now to 24. Ritchie departed for no score from the very first delivery. Hodge for 1. Peters has 15. Carty is yet to receive a delivery. And here is Lewis as he makes an adjustment to his field. He's asking the captain, Ambrose, to make an adjustment. So Miran is going to go down to long off, and of course the man on the square leg boundary is going to come on the 30-yard circle. So the fielders beyond the 30-yard boundary would be long on, and of course third man. Everyone else is in a run saving position as Lewis goes away from us now to bowl to Peters, and Peters is driving, knocked down, in fact beats the man out there at backward point. Is going to go down to the man coming off the third man boundary, but not getting the return in before Peters crosses for 2 runs, which takes his personal score now to 17 and the score to 26 for the loss of 2.
So 26 for 2 at the moment, and St. Maarten has all the work to do now. Lost the wicket of the first delivery. And another just moments ago. Showing Peters is still there. He is on 15, 17, and Casey Carty is the new batsman. So these two, they will have to battle see if they can bring St. Maarten back into this contest at the moment. It's going to be difficult, but they're well capable of doing it. So there's a new bowler from the Fire, and that's John. It's into Carty down the leg side, signal wide by the umpire. Carty aware of his field. And that, had he gotten any bat onto that, he could have easily slipped away for 4 behind square. So he's batting in the number 4 position. West Indies on a 19 player. Here's John. Carty clips this away, straight to the square leg fielder, and there is no run. Flew in from St. Kitts on Thursday. So they pulled him from the Leeward Islands camp. He was excused to come and play some cricket here. It's so good to be out in the park actually playing. This is a nice drive by Carty on the offside. Strikes the bottom of the bat. I'd like to welcome all our viewers on our platforms, maqtv platforms. Oh, that's a lovely shot. What a shot there from the young man Carty. Just playing through the line. Over pitch delivery by John. He just played through the line and down the ground for 4. It's the safest place to hit a cricket ball. And a lovely shot. That had class written all over it. So that takes the score now on to 31 for 2. And Carty goes on to 4. Carty's actually off the mark, and 17 to Peters. John again. This time it's pushed away. This is good running. Just through the vacant mid-wicket region. Carty took the first one quickly. Probably looking to put pressure on the fielder to come back, but only one. As I was saying before, welcome to all our viewers on our different platforms. On the maqtv on YouTube, and also maqtv on Facebook. So, there's also our website, maqtv.com, for all our listeners and viewers to come get involved. This time, Peters with an almighty heave, and had that ball not swung away from him, he could have easily been bowled. Through to the wicketkeeper. There is no run. John. And this time Peters has the right idea. Over mid-off, 1 bounce into the boundary for 4. So Peters is looking very composed at the moment. And the 2 batsmen there just you're playing proper cricket shots. So Peters, after playing a big heave, decided that there was no need for it at the moment. So he just easily came forward and lifted that one over mid-off down to the boundary for 4. 36 without loss, and that's the end of over number 4. Over to Keith.
Yeah, 36 for the loss of 2. Peters has 21 and Casey Carty has 5. And these two would want to bat for a very long time. As I speak, it looks as though it's going to be a bowling change. And so as soon as I can get the player's name for you, I will relay it. It's number 4. So Larry Edwards. So the spinning left arm and I think he comes from Island of Grenada. So he'll be bowling to Carty, and they've had some battles in the past, of course. Carty plays for the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, and Edwards, I think at one stage, captained the Windward Island Volcanoes last year. So he would have some experience, and he'll be bowling to Carty has 5, the total 36 for the loss of 2. Richie, he was bowled for no score by Lewis, and then Hodge caught by Yazdam there at mid-off of Lewis for 1. Since then, Carty and Peters has gotten together, and they have repaired the damage so far, steadied the ship. So we'll have to wait and see what will happen now as Edwards makes some adjustments to his fieldsman. He's on his way now to bowl to Carty, and Carty goes back and whips it off the pad out towards mid-wicket. Will get at least 1, and off the boundary comes the fielder to do the fielding. Number 18 on his back, that is Athanas. I couldn't prevent the single, so Carty has gone to 6 and the total to 38, 37. 37 for the loss of 2. So Peters surveys the field, does a bit of gardening to the track, and looks up and sees that Edwards is very much on his way to bowl to him once more. Off the back foot he goes and steers it somewhat lazily to the offside. Could have easily got an inside edge and gone on to the stumps. So that was not to be. But I think Peters need to be a lot more decisive than that. Here is Edwards as he goes over from us now to bowl to Peters, who is going back to a shortish delivery and pushing it out towards the backward point region. Diving tumble there by Ambrose, but in the end could not have held on. So 1 more run scored. Peters has gone now to 22, and Carty, who has 6, come down to half strike, 38 for the loss of 2. First wicket falling at 0, the second at 18. And here is Larry Edwards on his way to bowl to Carty, and Carty goes back to a shortish length delivery, pushes in the offside, and Peters looking for a single that is non-existing, and Carty, realizing the danger, had to send him back, and correctly so. Good feeling from the man there, that cover point position. Edwards is on his way to bowl to Carty. Carty goes back and steers it out towards cover. Can't beat the fielder there. And the score is kept on 38 for the loss of 2. So good stuff from Edwards so far. He's on his way now to bowl to Carty once more. Passes umpire to goes over the wicket, goes back and to a faster, flatter delivery, looking to cut it to the offside, not making proper contact. And it brings up the end of the 5th over. And after 5 overs, the score 38 for the loss of 2. So the 2 batters are having a mid-wicket conference, and players are now finding their way to their respective positions. Umpires in this match so far has done a fairly decent job. John is going to continue from the far end. He'll be bowling to Peters, who has 22. And the score so far 38 for the loss of 2. The wickets that 2 have fallen so far: Richie for no score, Hodge for 1. Here is John as he comes up now to bowl to Peters with number 7 on his back. And bowls, and Peters is across the off stump, attempting to turn it in the onside. And this sets off for a single. Peters is guilty of ball watching, and Carty, realizing the possibility of the single, was through early. So leg by signal, the total will advance by 1 out to 39. And of course they're chasing the target of 192 for victory. A lot more runs required, and Carty comes down to half strike with John, who dips his hand in the turf, trying to do away whatever perspiration there might be on the hands, as he comes up now to bowl to Carty. Long on him, the wicket back, and Carty gets a delivery out of the off stump, a slower delivery, and just watches it go through to the gloves of Emmanuel Stewart. Thought he should have been on the back foot and punching that, but in the end has allowed it to go through to Stewart. Total is kept on 39 for the loss of 2. Here is John as he turns in the distance. He's on his way to bowl to Carty. 39 for the loss of 2. And here is Carty driving the ball back to the bowler, who knocks it down. And there is no run. Carty wanted to do a lot better with that delivery. But in the end, another dot has gone into our scorer's book. Of course, the score is Bradley today. Total 39 for the loss of 2. So long off, long on. In fact, there's a long on Right back on the boundary. Here is John as he comes in out to bowl to Carty. Carty is whipping this off the pad in the onside. Could there be a chance of a round? In fact, there will be. In fact, he gets back. So good feeling there by Amris, the fielder in that Squillick region. And had the ball back into Emmanuel Stewart in the flash. But by the time Stewart got up to the wicket after standing back for the seamer, Carty was able to get back. So there's a mid-wicket and the long on. John is on his way to bowl to Carty once more. Carty gets a delivery that he waits and then strikes it over the bowler's head down to the straight boundary for 4 runs. And the total advances by 4 now to 43. 43 for the loss of 2. Carty goes to 10 with that boundary. And good slower ball it was from John, but Carty had a presence of mind to really wait on it and then strike it back over the bowler's head down to long off for 4 runs. So he would want to continue his effort as he looks up and sees that John is very much on his way now. And this time the right-hander's pulling it over mid-wicket. This is going to go a long way for 6 runs. And a shortish length delivery, and Carty was on the back foot and really dealt with that with some severity. And over the mid-wicket boundary, the ball is gone for 6 runs. He is now gone to 16, and the score to 49 for the loss of 2 after 6.
$49 for 2, and that's the end of over number 6, which is the power play period. So they've lost 2 wickets, but they've done well in the power play. Remember, they're chasing 192 to win. So at the moment, Carty's there. Peters is also there. Peters has been the more aggressive of the two, but Carty has also played very well. He's on 18, Peters on 22. So it's 49 for 2 at the moment. 22 to Peters, 18 to Carty. Peters looking to go through the offside. It's clearing the front foot, looking to go through the offside. That was a quicker delivery that went through to the wicketkeeper. John has so far bowled 2 overs for 20. Edward in his second over, none for 2. Edward bowls again, and Peters back and across. Plays it to cover. There's 1. Just to the left of the fielder. That's a lovely view of the Carib Lumber Ballpark, just nestled to the bottom of the hills on the west. I like to call it the zip lining hills. I think I haven't gotten an official name for that hill just yet. Century Hill. Bradley's telling me. Have you ever been up that hill, Bradley? I'm afraid of heights. Well, we can see that you're afraid of heights because you're just 4'1". And at the moment, we're looking, the score is 50 for 2. Oh, that's a wonderful shot. What a magnificent shot there by Carty. Reminded me of Carl Hooper. I know it's a lofty comparison, but that was classy. 32 to young Carty. It's 56 for 2. Well, he's 22. John. Cutting nicely forward. Pushes it on the offside. Lovely shot, that last one. Just got to the pitch of it and just lifted it over cover. Don't know how much coaching Keith did with him. We'll hear from Keith very soon. That's short, a quicker one. He gets back, gets room, plays it down to the sweeper's position, and that's 1. At the end of the over, it's 57 for 2, and that's the end of over number 7 with Peters on 23, and Carty has also joined him on 23.
Yes, very good batting so far from these two. Casey Carty, we've seen one beautiful shot played over extra cover. And And of course, I've heard that comparison made lookalikes like Carl Hooper by someone else on Facebook, Vinod, so you're not the first to have made that observation. And of course, he has represented the West Indies on the 19 team back in 2016. Of course, they've won that championship. And along with Emmanuel Stewart, the wicketkeeper in this game, he was also there in Bangladesh as well. I don't think he played a match, but he was a part of that West Indies winning on the 19 team. So Carty has 23, comes down to half strike to John. Yes, John is the bowler from the foreign as he comes up to bowl to Carty. And Carty gets a delivery that he is looking to pull through the onside, not making the necessary contact to do so. And the ball ricocheted in the offside. And the score is kept on 56 for the loss of 2. Richie, the batsman, out of the very first delivery ball. Lewis for no score. Hodge, he was caught. He has them at mid-off of the bowling of Lewis for 1. Since then, Carty and Peters has gotten together and has taken the score to 56. Here is John to bowl to Carty, who's driving out towards the man on the long off boundary. And only one run there will be. He has gone out to 24. And the total to 57. 58 now for the loss of 2. Peters, who has 23, comes down and to half strike, sees that there is a long on, a long off. There's also a mid-wicket, a man out on the cover boundary. And a man right back on the square leg fence as well. Here is John as he comes in the bowl to Peters. Peters is beaten outside the line of the off stump. A foolish length delivery. And through to Emmanuel Stewart. The final and the 5th test match between England and Australia this morning. England were in control. I think Australia had picked up a wicket or 2 in the morning's play. But it will be very interesting to see by the end of the day what they will have. Here is the batsman to bowl and to bat, and that is pulling the ball down the ground was Peters. Not really timing it. And the ball has been fielded by the fielder down on the long off boundary. Both long on and long off converging. Long off got there first. And Peters has gone to 24, and the score now to 59 for the loss of 2. Carty to receive from John once more. John is on his way now to bowl to Carty and whips it off the pad. In fact, we'll have to wait to see if he made contact or not. But the ball is going to come down into the fine leg boundary. They are already crossed for 2. In fact, that's all it will be. And umpire now will signal leg by. So the ball made contact with Carty's bat. So the total has advanced by 2 now to 61 for the loss of Richie and Hodge. So in the course of the 8th over, John is on his way to bowl to Carty. And Carty is hitting this out to the man down on the mid-wicket boundary on the bounce. And on the 1 run they will beat was a slower delivery. So that would have taken away from his momentum and made the shot a bit more difficult to play. But at the end of it, he has got 1 run added to his total, which takes him now to 25. And the score to 62 for the loss of 2 after 8.
So these two, they're rebuilding this innings nicely after 8:62, which is just a tad under 8 runs and over. So if they could maintain this down to the last 4 or 5 overs, they'll be well in the game. Keep wickets in hand, they can explode towards the end. But a lot depends on this pair. Peters, who has shown both sides of his batting today. The fact that he can explore and also play reasonably well. He has so far faced a total of 18 deliveries for his 24. And Carty's on 25 of 24. So John is going to continue from this end. In fact, it's Shillingford. So the former West Indies test player. Shillingford. Here he is, a hop, skip and a jump. And that delivery turns sharply back into Carty. He was on the back foot. Pushes it on the offside. Carty has to be very careful here. He's getting the ball to turn from ball 1, Shane Shillingford. On that occasion, had that struck Carty, the bounce would have saved him. This pitch full of runs. It's supposed to get even better for batting as it's baked under the sun. That one keeps a bit low though outside the off stump. Carty on the back foot looking to cut him square. And that one rushed through. This morning the Leeward Islands players were nestled on the tent to the left of us. They seem to have gone in back into the confines of the Paradise Inn Hotel. This is driven down to the sweeper's position now for one maqtv. So the score moves on to 63 now for 2, 24 to Peters. Carty is on the 26. The Nagico Invitational T10 tournament. Here is Shillingford. He comes in and bowls, and that keeps low. On the back foot was Peters. A good running by Carty and Peters. There's a loud appeal by Sunil Lambris for run out, but Carty was back home. So that's 2 more to Peters. He goes to 26 as well. The score is now 65 for 2. This is over number 9. So they've actually restarted the match from this end. So this is over number 9 from the media center end. Here's Shillingford. Outside the off stump, and that's one more. Here is Shillingford again. And Carty's bowled. He came tentatively forward, and that one went on with the arm, and Carty has been bowled. So that's a major breakthrough. The young man leaves the arena for 26. It's now 66 for 3, and it's the end of the over. At the end of over number 9, 66 for 3. That's the latest score here at the Caribou Lumber Ballpark in St. Maarten.
It's a good wicket for the Windward Island Volcano to get there. Shillingford, of course, an experienced campaigner. Carty pushing long forward. The ball probably spinning between bat and pad. And I believe hit the off stump or middle stump. But he's on his way back to the players' pavilion. And, of course, Shillingford been called to do exactly what he did, get a wicket. And the score now 66 for the loss of 3. With the first wicket going on 0, the second at 18, and now the third and 66th. So the St. Maarten team is not being able to really get any sort of partnerships going between themselves, and as a result of that find themselves in a real precarious position. But the new batsman is Akeem Charles. He's making his way to the middle, and he also plays for the Spartans team. So does Shawan Peters and Casey Carty. So Carty has just left, and Charles now joins us in the middle, and no doubt he would want to get a start, but Carty will be very disappointed after having that start to not really push on. But Shillingford on the other end will be pleased with his exploits in that over that we just saw. So Charles comes into strike, and as I speak, the Windward Island Volcanoes are not yet in the position, and I guess in a matter of minutes they will be. So we had good scores this morning from Athanas, who got 85 from 52 balls with some 8 fours and 5 sixes. And then we had Ambrose with 40. The principal scores of the Windward Island Volcanoes effort. And this inning so far for the St. Maarten team, Carty has gone for 26. Peters has 27. And it looks like Larry Edwards is switched from the bottom end. So Shillingford has replaced him from this the commentary box end. And he'll be bowling now from the players' pavilion end to Shawan Peters. So he'll be bowling left arm around the wicket to Peters. There is a long off, a long on. There's a cow corner. A man out on the square leg boundary, a backward square, solitary slip, a backward point, extra cover. A man sweeping on a cover boundary. Here is Edwards as he comes up now to bowl to Peters. And Peters is steering the ball in the offside. And it looks like Athanas, the fielder, there to prevent the single. And the score is kept on 66 for the loss of 3. Edwards is on his way to bowl to Peters once more. And Peters is off the back foot and pulls it out towards the man on the long on boundary. That is on the corner boundary. And they're going to turn for the second. In fact, they have changed their minds on that. and the score has pushed on by 1 now to 67 for the loss of 3. Peters has gone to 28. Peters has gone to 28, so Ambrose is making an adjustment to his field. The man there in that point position for the left-handers are going to ask to go to cover. And the sweeper out on the mid-wicket boundary now is going to become the sweeper out at cover for Hakeem Charles. And Ambrose is going to feel at leg slip. So there's no slip. Of course, there's a short third man. Here is Edwards expected to turn the ball back into the left-hander so much. And the ball has been pushed very nicely off the mark down to the man on the long off boundary. Yazdam comes off the boundary, prevents the second. And Charles gets off the mark with a single, which takes the total now to 68 for the loss of 3. And he has 1. So Peters comes in to strike once more. And Edwards, is on his way to bowl to Peters. And Peters is on the back and off the front foot and hits it high over the top of long off. That's gone a long, long way for 6 runs. And we've seen that for the 3rd time today from Shawan Peters. And he has pushed on now by that 6 to 34. 34 on the total to 72. 72 for the loss of 3. So Peters has had a start and he would want to maximize on his personal game. Anything in excess of 50 I would say would be good for him, but he will need to go much further than that. So here is Peters again. He's gone over the top. 74 plus 6. That is what? 80. So 80 runs is the total. And Peters has gone now 34 to 6. That's 40 runs to him. And so far he has decided, well, he's going to fight fire with fire. The ground is by no means a huge one. So anytime he finds the middle of the bat, more often than not, it will disappear for 6. And it has done that on 2 occasions. Here is Edwards once more as he comes in to bowl to Peters, who has 40. And he's down the track, in fact, hits this high over the top of long on. That's gone a very, very long way once more. So 3 consecutive 6s by Shawan Peters. He now goes to 46 on the score now to 86 for the loss of 3. And Edwards, in my view, been very roughly treated. And I think he's been struck for 4 6s in the 2 overs that he's bowled. And probably that just might be the end of his stint for now. However, that's only my conjecture. But it's going to be over to Vino to give you more reality.
at the end. Larry there in the middle shadowing some shots as he has already taken his guide from the umpire. On the top and wait for the bowler, Maxwell, who runs in, past the umpire just about now, comes up and bowl, gets a ball which is turning away onto the onside. The fielder at short mid-wicket comes in and stop any possibility of a run. The score remains on 87 for the loss of 4. St. Maarten would want to go on and win this one. They will definitely not want to disappoint the locals who have come out to support them in numbers. The ball Maxwell from the top end as he moves in to bowls to the batsman. There is a tentative appeal, not out as the umpire, as the fielder attempting a run, and here is the batsman attempting a run, and here is the fielder rushing in and play a little bit of football, but not to the effect that could cause any damage to the batsman. As he taps away, I wait for the bowler Maxwood. He's bowling to a point, a cover as we break, and he moves into bowls to the batsman who's turning this one on the onside and will get off the mark, as this one was played down to a square leg position. The fielder at short fine leg, which is Shillingford, moves a bit to his right, cannot prevent the possibility of a run, and the score has moved on to 88. 88 for the loss of 4, so brings down Sherwin Peters, who is on 46 not out, has played a very good inning here for his team. St. Maarten would want Sherwin to stay there till the end, as Sherwin just about to receive from Maxwell, who's getting some advice from his captain there, and who's making a little bit changes to the field, because we've seen Sherwin hitting the ball over the top so far, so there's a long off in place. We'll have a fielder down at cover sweeping, as the bowler Maxwell tossing the ball from hand to hand, making sure that the fielders are in the right position as he begin his run from the top end, moves into bowls to Sherwin. To this delivery, he's letting it to go by, to be taken by the keeper. No damage done. The score remains on 88. 88 for the loss of 4. St. Maarten a spot of border, but would want to gather themselves with a good partnership here between Cedric and Sherwin. These two know each other very well, I can tell you, because they played for the same team here at the local level. Here is the bowler Maxwell into bowl to Sherwin, who's hitting this one over the top, over wildish long off, and will clear the boundary with some distance. And this one has gone over and beyond the boundary for 6. And that brings up his 50. Well played, young man. It was a ball pitched up and Sherwin into the drive, lifting it over long off and clearing the boundary by some distance here. That's a well played shot by Sherwin. The total has moved on to 94. 94 for the loss of 4, and it's also the end of the over. And yes, and with more thoughts from Vino to continue the commentary.
Thank you, Big Merv. And the score at the moment is 94 for 4. Of course, the Big Merv, the swerve. Dillon from Trinidad and Tobago was actually struck by lightning twice during his cricket playing days. Probably was too tall. I don't think that's something that Bradley has to be worried about. Lightning would never strike Bradley. So Sherwin Peters has scored a half century here, and I like his approach. He has really, really looked good. 98 for the loss of 4. 94 for the loss of 4. And here is Shane Shillingford. He's going to continue to bowl around the wicket. And Shillingford's figures just for you. He has so far bowled 2 overs, 1 for 5. Amazing on this track where 191 runs were scored early on. So he's there at Shillingford, 1 for 5. He continues, and this is pushed away down the ground by Descartes. He gets, yes, Descartes gets 1. So you have a Carty, and you have a Descartes on this team. So at the moment, we are just nearing the 100-run mark. It's 95 for 4, and it's Yes, 95 for 4. The target is 192. 192. It means that they require a further 97 of 7.5 overs. So 47 legal balls to get 97 runs. And if they are to get that, I'll tell you something. We would have been truly, well and truly entertained here this morning. Here is Shillingford. Played away down to long on. He gets one. 192, of course, is the target. So Shillingford is going to go around the wicket. Still 6 wickets in the cob. And this is a slug swept down to the backward square for 1. So that's 1 more. And the score now pushes on with that 1 to 97 for 4. Descartes is on 3. Peters is on 53. This one is all played upishly through the fake and mid on. They take 1. And the mere fact that he mistimed that Peters, it allows him to go back for 2. As that brings up the 100. No, it's 99 for 4, the St. Maarten Pelicans. And remember, they're chasing 192, which means 93 required of 44 balls. Quite an effort needed to get there. But the man who can take them there, he is at the crease at the moment, and he's going to face Shillingford. What he needs to do, though, is to respect Shillingford and play out the former test spinner. He comes in on bowls, and this is what he does. That one spins back sharply from Shillingford, takes the inner portion of the bat, goes down to a short backward square for 1, and that brings up the 100 for St. Maarten. They are 100 for 4. The Peters is on 55 and Descartes is on 3. The current run rate 7.79, and Bradley is quickly working out the required run rate for me. He tells me it's 12.84. Well done, Bradley. Shillingford, this one given air. Descartes is forward, and bad piece of feeling there from Shillingford. He looks at the turf, kicks at it. Probably did get a bad bounce. But a good effort from him, a good over from Shane Shillingford. 3 overs, 1 for 12. At the end of over number 13, the latest score here at the Caribou Lumber Park in St. Maarten. St. Maarten Pelicans, they're 101 for 4, chasing 192. They require a further 91 or 42 balls. And we're going to hear how they progress as I hand you over to Big Merv.
Oh, thank you, Vino. Yes, the action will continue here at the Caribou Lumber Ballpark, bathed in sunshine here. Sunshine City, St. Maarten, where the sun shines practically every day. And we have cricket, lovely cricket here. We have the Windward Islands volcano up against St. Maarten Pelican. And the Windward Islands scored 191. So St. Maarten has to chase a target of the 192. So it's going to be the bowler from the top end, as he moves in, comes up to bowl to the batsman who is back and playing this one down. And they get a quick single here as the keeper retrieves, and the batsman gets a comfortable single that has moved on the score to 102 it is for the loss of 4. Brings down Showin Peters, the man of the moment, the man who has scored some 56 runs for the St. Maarten team, playing a very, very important inning here for St. Maarten. St. Maarten, yes, the score 100. It is 102, Bradley? Is it? 102. Here is the bowler, comes up to bowl to the batsman, gets a wide delivery and guided past point. They go for 1. We'll think about a second. We'll get a comfortable second run in the end, as the fielder from third man moves across to retrieve and sends a high return back to the bowler, not before the batsman crosses for 2. So 2 more runs to Showin. He moves his total to 58, and the score 104 it is for the loss of 4. Here is the bowler from the far end as he moves into balls to Peters, who's dry opening the face of the bat, but guides it straight to the man at point, who stop this one well and throws the ball back to the bowler. So no runs, no damage done here. The score remains on 104. Set a target of 192. St. Martin from the very start they lost Richie of the very first ball of the inning. Is the bowler from the far end, comes up to balls to Showing, who's playing this one past the keeper, but will get a easy single down to third man. Shane Shillingford comes in and throws the ball back to the keeper. Not before the batsman cross for a comfortable single. Showing moves on to 59 and the total to 105. 105 for the loss of 4. Well, we've seen the locals come out to support the St. Martin team, and they would want St. Martin to pull this one, but they are up against it. 105 for the loss of 4 after how many overs been bowled here, Bradley? About 12 or so. Here is over number 13. Here is the batsman into a big drive, not timing it well, but will get a single as the fielder comes off the long off boundary and throw the ball back to the keeper. The batsman cross for a comfortable single. He moves on his personal score to 5, 6. Yes, 6. It brings down Showing to take strike. Well, Showing, he is the enterprise of St. Martin cricket at the moment, the one everyone is looking up to now to take his team home. Here is the bowler from the far end, comes up towards to Showing, and this one is a wide delivery outside the off stump, goes by to be taken by the keeper, a wide call by the umpire and signal. This has moved on the score to 106. 107 it is for the loss of 4. It was a wide delivery. Well, you know, Showing has been playing some shots over the top, so I think the bowler here trying to induce Showing into play a lofted shot where he can get his wicket. Here is the bowler past the umpire just about now, comes up to balls to Showing, who's trying to hit this one. Well, Showing trying to hit this one, doesn't make contact. The ball goes through to be taken by the keeper. It's the end of the over. Over number 13 being bowled, the score over number 14 being bowled, and the score 106 for the loss of 107 for the loss of 4. As I take you back to Vino, who's gonna give you more commentary, the ball by ball commentary.
Thank you, Merv. And the score at the moment is 107 for 4, with Peters in there at the moment on 53. He has faced 59. He has faced a total of 36 balls. And out of those 36 balls, he has actually struck, how many 4s has he struck, Bradley? 1 4 and 6 6s. So Peters is there, and so much on him. It's 107 for 4. This is over number, in fact, we've seen the end of 14, so this is over number 15. And at the moment, Shillingford, he still has an over to bowl, so they've kept him back. They've kept one in the bank. 3 overs, 1 for 12. He has been excellent. Demba is now going to take up the attack here from the media center. And here's Demba. Comes in and bowls, and that's a big heave there by Discati. He's very lucky that his stumps were not disturbed. It goes through to the keeper, 107 for 4. The score remains there. I want to again welcome all our viewers along all our platforms here on maqtv. He is again bowls, and this time Discati makes room, pulls it down to long on. There should be 1. That's all there'll be. It's now 108 for 4 on all our platforms. We have, of course, maqtv on Facebook, on YouTube as well, maqtv.com. You can always pick us up there too. So, wonderful day for cricket here in St. Martin. I know that we were told that there is a chance that we may have a downpour. One hopes that the rain, which is so kind to arrive a couple of days ago and heavily at that, to lead to a very lush and lovely outfield, and that it stays away for the weekend. You can come back on Monday. Here is Peters. He waits, makes room and cracks it through the offside. That's 1 more. It's now 109 for 4. Remember, the target is 192. So Peters takes his personal contribution now to 60. Descartes is on 7. So not a bad start here by Demba. So he's going around the wicket to the left-hander, and he's looking to cramp Descartes for room, and he's bowling over the wicket to the right-handed Peters. So much depends on Peters at the moment. But he's playing the overs game. I'm going to give you the required rate is now 15. Someone needs to explode. And there comes an explosion. That's a 6 over mid-wicket. And Descartes shows that he can hit the ball as well, as he hits Demba over mid-wicket for 6. That's much needed because the required rate at the moment is 15. So the score at the moment is 115 for 4. This is over number 15 in progress. Here is Demba. Descartes goes again. That's another. Would it go? Yes, it is a 6. So another 6 there by Descartes. And that's out of here. It's now 121 for 4. So they're looking for the ball at the moment, and there you can see in the region of where the Adam Sanford Cricket for Life sign is at deep mid-wicket. So remember, Adam Sanford will be hosting his Cricket for Life Cricket 59 from November the 10th, right here at the Carib Lumber Ball Park. So we're back with Demba. He's seen his balls disappear in this over. This is pushed back to Demba. He dives up. What? Can't stop it. That's one more. Is that the end of Demba's over? Demba is walking away. The umpire is having a word with him. Demba wants the over to end quickly. It's either he has been carted around the park or he wants to hear Merv's commentary. But at the end of that over from Demba, one over, it cost him 15 runs. It has brought these guys back into the contest. The required rate has now dropped from 15 to 14. At the end of over number 15, it's 122 for 4 with Descartes on 20 and Sherwin Peters on 60. Over to Merv.
Well, thank you, Zeno. You've seen in the last over here, St. Maarten getting some 15 runs. 15 runs of the last over, where Demba was hit for 2 consecutive sixes by Descartes. Oh, the total now, 122 it is for the loss of 4. The 2 batsmen are out in the middle. They are formulating the plans, how to approach this one. Because the target, let me just remind you that the target is 192. At the score now, 121 for 22 for the loss of 4. 122 for the loss of 4 wickets. So the bowler operating from the far end. What's his name? Is it a bowling change? No. As the batsman Descartes is tapping away, he is on strike. Over number 16 is about to commence, Bradley. And it's going to be... Well, seems to be a hole up there, as someone is probably trying to walk across the side screen on the umpire. The umpire is holding play for a moment. As there is a fine leg in place, a man at the deep backward square boundary, a short mid wicket. We have a long on, a short extra cover. The bowler from the far end moves in to bowl to Descartes, who's backing away and hitting this one, but it was a slower delivery and much deceived, I must say, as this one, Descartes trying to pull away over mid wicket, but it was a slower delivery. It's Lewis back in the attack. He was the opening bowler, so he has switched in. Lewis, who has represented the West Indies in Test cricket. So we have Lewis, a man from the Spice Isle of Grenada, a very good bowler indeed, who has played cricket at the highest level. He is right here at the Carib Lumber Ball Park in glorious sunshine, and it is the Windward Island Volcanoes against St. Maarten Pelicans. Here is Lewis. Moves into bowls to the batsman who's backing away and hitting the ball straight to the fielder on the long on boundary and is out caught. Well, it was a pitched up delivery. He was into the drive and hit the ball, but not, he got the distance, but not the elevation, but the ball straight into the fielder at long on. So St. Martin has lost another wicket. They have lost the 5th wicket. And you could say that the Volcanoes, the score now 122 for the loss of 5. So the Windward Island Volcanoes are in command here. They are large and in charge at the Carib Lumber Ballpark. St. Martin losing wicket number 5. And from the distance here, I can see it is Damian Williams making his way to the middle. Well, Damian Williams also plays for the Spartan teams and has represented St. Martin for a number of years. And he's making way to the middle here with his team in deep trouble. 122 for a loss of 5, chasing a target of 192. And we are working over number 16, being bowled by the man Lewis from the top end here. Well, some form of disappointment here for the locals here. They would have wanted to see St. Martin to go on and register a victory. But they are up against the guys who have been playing cricket, some who have played at the highest level and some who are playing regionally. So it is a test for St. Martin. Damian Williams have arrived here at the middle and he's about to take guard. While the fielders, Windward Island Volcano fielders, are going back to their respective positions here. Damian is taking guard from the umpire. Well, from here I could mark it's a leg stump guard taken by Damian. He's about to receive from Lewis. We see Lewis making some adjustment to the field. He's bringing the fielder who is placed at square leg somewhat to his right and bringing the fielder who was at the fine leg boundary up at the 45 angle. So it's a short fine leg, a square leg, a deepish mid wicket, a long on. That's the onside field. So on the offside, we've got a long off, a short extra cover, a point, a deep extra cover, and a man down on the 3rd man boundary. So here is Lewis from the far end, comes up to bowls to Damian, and Damian is back, and there is a loud appeal. That also says the umpire. They're going to get a quick single here as this one trickle on to the onside. No signal from the umpire, so Damian is off the mark. He's on 1. The score 123 it is now for the loss of 5. So Damian is off the mark immediately. Brings down Showin Peters, who have gone under the cloud a bit because Showin was going great guns. He scored his runs quickly. He's on what? 59, Bradley? He's on 60. Haven't faced for a while in the partnership between him and Discati. Discati had most of the strike, scoring a very good 20, but in the end was caught on the long on boundary. So the bowler is in consultation with the captain, and they're going to make some more adjustment to the field. They're going to bring in the man from the 4th man boundary up, so he's going to be on the 45 here, and they has pushed back the man on the fine leg boundary. So let's give you the field. It's going to be a short foot man, a point, a deep extra cover, a deep cover, a short extra cover, a long off. That's the offside field, and on the onside you've got the deep fine leg. And as we speak, the fielder who was posted on the square leg position has moved back all the way down to the boundary. So the onside field is spread a bit. Lewis, a very experienced bowler at this level, as he moves into bowls to the batsman Showin. And to this delivery, Showin is hitting the ball coming off the outer edge, and it beats the fielder who's at the short foot man and will go down to the boundary for 4 runs. So a shot that Showin tried to hit over the top, the ball coming from the outer portion of the bat, and it bit the short foot man and went all the way down to the boundary for 4. So with that, the score has moved on to 127 for the loss of 5. Showin has moved his tally to 64. 64 not out. A very good inning being played here by Showin. His team would want him to go on and maybe pull this one out for the team. Here is the bowler Lewis from the far end as he comes into bowls to Showin, who's hitting this one. And that is brilliantly taken, that shot extra cover. Oh my word. He struck it with tremendous power and a brilliant catch here, taking that shot extra cover. Well, don't know the name of the fielder as yet, but it was a ball pitched up and Showin was into the drive, hit it with tremendous power, and the fielder at short extra cover diving away to his left and come up with a superb catch. That is Sunil Ambrose who took the catch. That the captain of the Wynwood Volcanoes. So Helgo Showing, who played very well for his team. He got 64, and in that 64 he got many boundaries, and it took the man Lewis, who has taken about his 4th wicket for the team. And the St. Martin team now has lost the 6th wicket, and the score 127 for the loss of 6. And the new batsman for St. Martin is Gabriel. Gabriel is making his way out to the middle. So St. Martin in a spot of border, more than a spot of border, you would say 127 for the loss of 6 now. And it took Lewis. Lewis possibly could get 5 wickets here. We'll give you Lewis bowling figures. He has bowled 2.5 overs, 13 runs for 4 wickets. That's well done by the young man who has played for the West Indies. He's here at the Caribbean Ball Park today and doing well. In glorious sunshine as he moves into bowls to the new batsman who's hitting the ball, and this one will beat the fielder at the third man position and will get off the mark. They were contemplating the second. Damien wanted a second, but sent back by Gabriel. So it's the end of the over after some 16 overs. The score 128 for the loss of 6. So we're going to bring Vino. Oh, some comments from Vino, and maybe Kit Kat is going to come in to do the ball-by-ball commentary.
Thanks a lot, Move. So it's 128 for 6. We have a total of 4 overs to come. So 64 required of 24 balls. And with Showing Peters back in the pavilion, and for 64, it has really made things difficult now for these guys. Can they pull it off? At the moment, the current run rate is 16 runs and over. As I pass you over to Keith Carty.
Thank you once more. Score 128 for the loss of what the board is reading 6. So the new batsman is Gabriel, and we know that he's a player who doesn't really stick around, and once he's there, he's going to be very positive. But it's all left to see what his approach is going to be. Damien Williams would want to give him the valued support. But St. Maarten, 127, chasing the total of 192. Still a lot of runs to be had, but I think they could do a lot better than they have done so far. But I guess that is things that I need to sit down and have a chat about. So here is Larry Edwards as he goes from the commentary box in to bowl to Gabriel. And Gabriel goes back to short delivery and attempting the cut shot behind point, not really making contact, through to the gloves of Emmanuel Stewart. Total is kept on 128 for 6. Here is Edwards to bowl to the batsman once more, who's driving, looking to go over the top of cover. In the end, no success, as the score is kept on 128 for the loss of 6. Edwards looks around and sees that his fielders exactly where he wants them to be. And as he prepares to go into bowl to Gabriel, who gets the delivery, which he swings to the onside, will get at least 1. That's all it will be, as Athanas comes off the boundary to do the fielding. And the total has pushed on to 129 for the loss of 6. So Williams is on strike. I'll get Williams' score for you in a minute. And Williams has 1. And score is 129 for the loss of 6. Edwards to bowl to Williams, who goes back and stays it down to the third man region. And will get an easy single. He gets his second run. The total advances to 130 for the loss of 6. Williams has gone now to 2 and has brought down Gabriel to half strike. I think he has 1 so far. Looks up and sees that Edwards is very much with him. He's on his way now to bowl to Edwards, who's driving over the top of cover. In fact, the catch is dropped by the man out on the cover boundary. And Gabriel has scored his 3rd run. And the score, 131 for the loss of 6. So Gabriel looking to get more elevation on that delivery. But in the end, spooning a catch out to the man at cover, who put it down. Larry will be very disappointed with that as he comes in out to bowl to Williams, goes back and beat outside the line of the off stump to one that bounced and spun away from the right-handed batsman through to the gloves of Emmanuel Stewart. Brings up the end of the 17th over. And at the end of 17, St. Maarten replying to 191. They're 131. So another 62 runs, another 60 runs required for victory. And from what, 3 overs? Well, that's going to take a lot of doing.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. Yes, 60 more runs needed. 3 more overs yet to be bowled. But you can give me the chair. No. All right. It's okay. So St. Maarten, not an impossible task, but highly improbable, you would say, in getting this 60 runs required. It's going to be the bowler, Lewis, who's going to bowl his final over. Lewis has bowled 3 overs so far and has taken, yes, it is Lewis as he moves into balls to the batsman who's getting a well pitched up delivery. He ducks it out as the ball trickled back to the bowler. No, it's not Lewis operating. It is John. It is John coming from the far end. In glorious sunshine here at the Caribbean Ballpark. It's a good game so far. St. Maarten up against it as John moves into bowls to Gabriel, who's backing away and lost his off stump in the process. He back away, trying to hit the ball over the top, but this one was on the off stump and knocking the off stump over. So Gabriel goes. Gabriel scored how many, Kit Kati? Only 3 runs for the team. Well, you could see that coming, Kit Kati. You're going to do some comments here for me as you saw that coming because St. Maarten up against it, needing 60 runs in 3 overs. So no time to push the ball around, trying to get some 6s.
Of course, and that is very much how Gabriel bats, and he was guilty of, my view, probably moving his front foot far too wide of the line of the delivery in India and losing his off stump. And his departure lets in Colin Hamer, who's the captain of this team. And we were seeing recently, and during the practice sessions, he really striking the ball very cleanly. So he will have to come here and try and do the same thing again. But the Winwood Islands Volcanoes have played a real clinical match. They've batted very well, they've bowled it well, and we've seen some fine catches taken, one especially by Ambrose to see the dismissal of Peters. He was diving full length to his left, not with one hand, with both hands, and as the balls nestled into his both hands, just tumbled and came up with the catch. But it was a good innings from Peters. I think he would have gotten some 56 or thereabout. And the new batsman is Colin Hamer, and he looks around the field and sees that there is a long off and there's a long on. There's also a man out in the Cow Corner region. There's also a man right back on the square leg boundary. And here is John as he comes up now to bowl to Hamer. And Hamer is across the off stump defending, looks a batsman and pushes it back to the bowler. And I think any number 3 batsman or 4 batsmen are very proud with that shot that Hamer has exhibited. And but it's going to take a lot more than that. Over 20 runs and overs required to win this match from here. So here is John as he comes up now to bowls to Heyman. Brilliant sunshine, and Heyman is driving outside edge of the bat, not taken, and the ball ricocheted in the outside of the pads of Emmanuel Stewart, and the batsman crossing for a single, which takes the score now to 132. 132 for the loss of 7. And John, who's been roughly treated first by Casey and then by Sherwin Peters, will be interesting to have his figures for you in a while. Here is Damon driving out towards the long arm boundary, and we'll get at least 1. Advances the score now to 132. 133 for 7. 133 for 7. And of course, it looks as though the Windward Volcanoes, as expected, would really go on and win this match this afternoon. Here is John as he comes up now to bowl to Hamer. Hamer's defending in the onside. There should be at least 2 here. They have really turned for the one first and they're now turning for the second. And Yaram, the fielder, coming on of the long off boundary, couldn't prevent the second run. And the total has advanced to 135 for the loss of 7. And I think some 17 overs or 18 overs have been bowled. So 2 overs remaining.
Thank you, Kit Kati. The Windwards are all over St. Maarten at the moment. They are the ones playing the better cricket now. We've seen St. Maarten in giving it on a good effort. We saw Showing Peters getting some 60, 64 runs, but no one else put their hand up. He had a good partnership with Casey Carty, I thought. Casey Carty got 26. But the pick of the bowlers for the Winwoods team has been Lewis, who has bowled 3 overs, no maiden, 14 runs, and has taken 4 wickets. And also the bowlers getting some good support from Shillingford, who bowled 3 overs, no maiden, 12 runs for 1 wicket. So it's gonna be a new bowler to take it from the commentary box end, the media center end. Wearing number 22 on his back. Yasrat? Yasram. It is Yasram. Well, Yasram coming in to bowl over number 19. The score is on 134 for the loss of 135 for the loss of 7. Here is Yasrat. Comes into bowl to Damian Williams, who gets a beautiful delivery. This one clean him up. It was a Yorker length delivery. Damian into the drive and the ball dipped and hit the bat and went straight in to the middle stumps, cutting into the middle stumps, and Damian has gone. Damian scored what? Only 3 runs. Damian bowled by Yasram, who bowled some medium pace. It's a medium from a very short run. He bowls with a lot of shoulder. This one was quick, perhaps a little bit too quick for Damian. But this one swerved in the air also. So very good ball by Yasram. St. Maarten losing the 8th wicket, 135 for the loss of 8. So the new batsman for the St. Maarten team is the man himself, Adam Stanford. Stanford making his way to the middle. Would want to dig St. Maarten out of this hole that they're in. But it's going to take a lot, because 135 for the loss of 8, chasing a target of 192 set by the Volcanoes. And no one else apart from Showing Peters getting a score. Showing got 64. Casey got 26. Casey Carty, he's got 26. And we had Desrat, he got 20. That's all the double figure score for the St. Maarten team. So it's going to be Yasram to continue. Stanford has taken his guard from the umpire, making some gathering, as Yasram is tossing the ball from hand to hand. He moves in, past the umpire just about now, comes up and bowls to Stanford, who's coming forward and just turning this one on the onside. Here is a misunderstanding between the two, but Stanford has turned and gone back to his crease, where he's safe. No damage done. The score remains on 135 for the loss of 8. 135 for the loss of 8, meaning that St. Maarten is a long way away from the target of 192 set by the Volcanoes. Here is Yasram. Past the umpire just about now, comes up and bowls to Stanford, who's turning this one on the onside. Will get us easy single. They're thinking about a second. Yes, they have decided to come back for a second. The return to the keeper's end, but Stanford running quick and getting a comfortable 2 runs. The score has moved on to 137, so Stanford is off the mark with 2. Well, he just turned this one on the onside, not hitting it hard. The field is set back, and they run the very first one quick, saw the opportunity for the second, and they decide to come for the second. The throw went to the keeper's end. It was a very good throw in the end, but Stanford, who ran well, gets home. It's going to be Yasram again. As he moves into bowls to Stanford, gets one. This is short, and he's trying to pull it. The ball coming from the bottom edge of the bat and goes back where the keeper moves to his left and retrieves. No damage done. The score remains on 137 for the loss of 8. Yasram seems to be bowling with a lot of shoulders here, not from a long run, but generating some pace as he moves in. Past the umpire just about now, comes up and bowls to Stanford, who's into the drive, but doesn't make contact. The ball beat the keeper, and it will go all the way down to the boundary for 4. Let's see the result. The signal from the umpire is going to be 4 byes. Yes, 4 byes it is. Well, with that 4, St. Maarten total has moved to 141. 141. It was a pitched up delivery. Stanford was into the drive. The ball beating the bat, also beating the keeper, and went all the way down to the boundary for 4. So 141 now for the loss of 8. Yasram turns as he moves into bowl to Stanford this time again. And Stanford is bowled. While it was a pitched up delivery again, and Stanford into the drive and losing his middle stump in the process. As we see Yasram from a very short run, bowling with a lot of shoulders here. The ball seems to be getting quicker than the batsman anticipated. And here is Yasram getting a double strike in this over. 2 batsmen being bowled. The score now 141 for the loss of 9. So the last batsman is making his way to the middle for St. Martin team. We're going to bring in Kit Catty here to continue the ball-by-ball commentary.
Of course, good bowling performance from Yazdam. He was a member of the West Indies under 19 team in the 2018, Youth World Cup. And I think he now has a contract with the Windward Islands Volcano. So he has come here in this game and has bowled well so far. Has bowled down Damian Williams and now Adam Stanford. Just bowling the ball full and straight. And as you said, the batsman being unable to negotiate the pace that we've seen from him so far. And it has been a slow track by all means. Really, the rain in the past has really hampered the preparations. But it's a track that once you put the ball in a good line and length, the battle will have to struggle to get runs unless you're a quality player. But here is John from the foreign as he comes into bowl. The 20th over, in fact, he loses his run. And the final score, what's the score? It's 141 for the loss of 9. So the last batsman is Molan LeBlanc. 141 for the loss of 9. And here is John as he comes into bowl to Hema. Hema's defending out towards cover where Ambrose is in the way. The captain of the Windward's team does the fielding. And there is no addition to the score. Comes into bowl to the batsman, Hema once more. The outside edge of the bat phone is going to run pretty close to the third man boundary. They're already crossed for the second. And it appears as though that's all it will be. And the total advances by 2 to 143 now for the loss of 9. So Maarten is the bowler. And he's coming into bowl to Hema once more. And left arm around the wicket. Hema's defending. And will there be a chance of a run out? Molan LeBlanc is attempting the single that in the end the batsman shied at the stumps and did not make contact. Molan virtually gave up because he was at a point of no return. And the bowler missed the stumps. And of course we're in the last over. And it has been a good performance so far from the Windward Islands Volcanoes. Turns in the distance as a bowler as he comes in now to bowl to Hema. And Hema is beat outside the line of the off stump. That's a very good delivery. One that touched down in my view around middle and off. And really went away from the right-handed player. And squared him up somewhat through to the gloves of Emmanuel Stewart. 141 for the loss, for the 3 for the loss of 9. As he comes in out to bowl to Hema. Hema's defending once more. And as I speak, the rains are coming. The players are getting ready to pull the covers on the field, but just one delivery left. And the ball is on his way to bowl to Hema once more. And Hema gets a limit which he's swinging at out towards the cover region. And we'll get at least one. That's all it will be. And in fact, that's the end of the game. So one more run to Hema, which takes the score to 144. So 144 for the loss of 9 St. Martin, replying to 191 made by the Windward Islands Volcanoes earlier. And in the end, the batters were not able to get across the finish line. So Lewis so far, 3 overs, no maidens, 14 runs, 4 wickets. McSweeney, 4 overs, no maidens, 30 runs, 1 wicket. John, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 26. Edwards, 4 overs, no maidens, none for 33. Shillingford, 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 12. And then Denver, 10 overs, no maiden, none for 5. And Basrat Yassam, he has bowled 10 overs and has taken 2 wickets for 1 over. No maidens and has taken 2 wickets. So that's the story of the Windward's bowling for you. But in the end, St. Martin team just not good enough to really stage any sort of fight back in this match so far. So we're going to take a break here. And then as we get set to bring you more ball coverages on Game 2, it will be the Leeward Islands Hurricanes coming up against the Windward Islands Volcanoes. So until then, we'll just bye for now.
Well, welcome back, and I welcome you back with the news that a wicket has fallen, and the wicket to fall being Spencer. He leaves without scoring. So it's the second time today that this has happened, where a wicket has fallen off the very first ball against the Windward Islands. So the Windward Islands, they seem to be magical with their first ball. That's a wicket. Of course, they won their game today, so they know that if they win here, they go straight into the finals, which is tomorrow. And if they lose, there is still an opportunity to get to the final, but it will then be decided on run rate if St. Maarten defeat the Leeward Islands. So at the moment, that's it. One wicket already fallen, and there is no run on the board. So Akeem Saunders to face the second delivery. Here's Lewis. He bowls to Saunders, who clips it up initially. One bounce to the mid wicket, and there is no run. So he could have gotten himself back in the pavilion as well. But I think that he has himself to blame, because if you survey the field, there's a huge gap just between the mid wicket. In fact, on the onside, there's only mid wicket and a fine leg. So Saunders could have actually chosen his spot. He didn't, and it goes to the man at mid-wicket. Here's Lewis again. He comes into Saunders. Good delivery just outside the off stump, and good running between the two. He just pushes it on the offside. So that's one more. So it's now 1 for 1 after 3 balls. Peters again, he comes in and bowls, and delivery outside the off stump, and Cornelius leaves it alone. It's taken by the wicketkeeper. So the Windward Islands, favourites to win this tournament. I was just told that by Big Mervs. So Akeem Charles, he is on 1. Akeem Saunders is on 1. And the man from St. Maarten playing for the Leeward Islands. And Cornelius, again, a good delivery there. That delivery going across the batsman there by Lewis. It's allowed to go by. So that's the idea. You get it to angle across the left-hander. 2 slips in position. Point, mid-off, cover, mid-on, deep square leg, and a mid-wicket. There's also a man on the long leg boundary. And it's Cornelius in here very early. In fact, he opened the batting, and Saunders came in after the second ball. Good delivery again. Played back along the track. Lewis turns fast in the return. It's true to the wicketkeeper. So a good start here by the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And after their victory this morning, they won their opening game against St. Maarten by 61 runs. They're expected to be tested a little bit more by the Leeward Islands. And at the end of over number 1, the score is 1-1. The Leeward Islands being sent into bat by Windward Islands. So it's 1-1 after the first over. I'm going to hand you over now to Mervyn. Big move to swerve with just 1 over gone. It's 1-1, and we're going to have a change, a new bowler on this end.
Thank you, Vino, and good afternoon to you. As we have the bowler, Dembe, he's going to pick up the attack from the commentary box end. As he comes up and bowls to Akim Charles, who's turning this one on the onside. We'll get a very comfortable single, as the ball was played on the onside to a fine leg in position there. And the ball is thrown back to the keeper. So 2 runs for the Leeward Islands here. Akim Sanders, I beg your pardon, getting both runs. He came in at number 3 because we lost from the very first ball of the inning. The batsman was out. A judge LBW by the umpire, sending him on his way. The Lee was losing the first wicket with the first ball being bowled. So they're in a lot of trouble from the very first over, losing a wicket. The Windward Islands, who recorded a victory against St. Maarten earlier today, will have the tails up, and the Leewards, who was sitting and watching, now they are in the middle doing the battle here. It's going to be Demba to continue as he moves into bowls to Cornelius, who is forward and playing the ball down to a short extra cover. There's no runs. While Windwards, you have seen what they did against St. Maarten. They bowled well, knocking St. Maarten over for 128 runs, 130 they scored. Demba, who had 1 wicket in the innings against St. Maarten, as he comes into bowls to the batsman who's back and flashing away, bisecting point and third man, and will get a quick single. The ball is thrown back to the keeper here. So 1 more to the total. 3 for the loss of 1. We had some rain during the break here, but the sun is back in all its glory, shining down on the Caribbean ballpark. The crowd continued to build, as you see. A number of persons have come in. When cricket is played at St. Maarten, you get a good support. The score is 3 for the loss of 1. Leeward against Windwards. Demba, the bowler for the Windward Islands, past the umpire just about now. Comes up and bowl, and the batsman is advancing and hitting the ball straight back past the bowler. 1 bong, that's a good shot. He'll get 1. And that's all there'll be, as the fielder on the long on boundary moves to his left and retrieves. So 1 to the total. The score has moved on to 4. 4 for the loss of 1. Leeward against Leeward here at Caribbean Ballpark in the Nagico 2020 tournament. With Demba with the ball in hand for the Windward Islands. This brings the batsman Cornelius to strike. Akim Sanders is on 3. Here is Cornelius, who's just got 1. As Demba comes up and bowls, he's back and playing the ball down to cover. They go for a quick single, a chance for a run out. The throw comes into the bowler's end, well backed up by the bowler in the end. There's good cricket all wrong. It was a short ball outside the off stump. He was back and hitting this one down to cover. Cover shy at the bowler's end, who backed up nicely. But a comfortable single in the end for the Leeward Islands. The score has moved on to 5. 5 for the loss of 1 in over number 2. Been bowled by Demba for the Leeward Island. He is bowling over the wicket, off spinner. A very short run, just 1-2 pieces up and delivers ball. Here is Akim Sanders driving down the track, but his partner is in the way. The ball ricocheted from his thigh. It's the end of the over here. So after 2 overs, The Leeward Islands are 5 for the loss of 1. As the action continue here at the Carib Lumber Ballpark, we're going to have Vino to bring you more commentary as the game progresses.
Thanks a lot. So as we continue to take in the action in game number 2 here at the Carib Lumber Ball Park, it's the Leeward Islands against the Windwards. Over the years, just to give our viewers an appreciation of what has been happening with Leewards and Windwards. Over the years, they actually played together as combined islands. Before they went their separate ways, I think in 1981, and the Leeward Islands and Windward Islands were formed. So now every time they meet, there's always this fierce rivalry between the islands. So it's going to happen here again today. This delivery is down the leg side. It eludes the wicketkeeper, and it's coming down just below us. They take 2. They're going to come back for 3. And in fact, they come back for 2. It means that 3 runs off that. In fact, it's leg buys. For once, I thought that it was a wide. So that pushes the score along now to 5, is it? Is it 5 now? 5 for 1? So we are seeing a change at the far end. Lewis, after an excellent first over, has been taken out. Can't understand that move, though. This is whipped away to mid-wicket. And there is no run. Cornelius just getting forward and leaning onto that one, clipping it away to mid-wicket. McSween with the score 7 for 1 is bowling from the western end. It has gotten a bit cool here. There was a slight bit of rain in between the matches. How perfect was that timing? This time it is down the leg side from McSween, and the umpire is a spread eagle in this calling a wide. 8 for 1. McSween bowls, and this delivery probably going down the leg side from my vantage point here, and not out, says the umpire. Cornelius was trying to go down the ground, and that delivery striking him just outside the leg stump and angling further down leg. So the score remains 8 for 1 at the moment. You're witnessing the Nagico Invitational here at T20 series at the Carib Ball Lumber Park. Down the track comes Cornelius, and that is going to go into the stands for 6 runs, into the bleachers actually, and it bounces once on one of the seats and flies over the tree. That was struck with ferocious power there from Cornelius. What he did well was to get to the pitch of McSween's delivery and swing him away. McSween is far from express pace, and that takes the score now to 14 for 1. This is over number 3 in progress. 14 for 1. Remember, the Leewards lost a wicket. Spencer of the very first delivery of the match. So we're going to see the action continues from the far end. Here is McSween. And delivery comes in with the natural angle into the left-hander, and Cornelius is playing it back along the track. These two, they need to take, they were here this morning looking at the Windward Islands just to get a feel as to their strengths and weaknesses. So they were looking at the Windwards and St. Maarten, and they would understand that the Windwards got up to 191 by playing sensible cricket in the first period. McSween again. Down the ground is Cornelius, and it goes down too long on. He didn't really get hold of it. That delivery could have smashed into the umpire. And it's the end of the over. At the end of over number 3, the score is 15 for 1.
Well, thank you, Vino, once more. We know Leeward's consolidating now after losing a wicket of the very first delivery of the match. These two now would want to settle and build a partnership for the team. They would want to go on and have a big score for the team because they know the likes of the Windward Islands, who scored 191 against St. Martin. So there is a bit of batting in the Windward. So the Leewards would want to go out there and give a good account of themselves. The action's going to continue in glorious sunshine here. Demba from the commentary box and comes up to bowls to Colinas, who's driving over the top. We'll get one, and we'll get a lot more than one, as this one has sped away and goes down to the boundary for 4 runs. So it was a pitched up delivery into the drive, hitting it over the top, and the ball crashes into the ropes here. 4 good-looking runs by Colinas. Colinas seems to be a very attacking batsman by nature. We have seen him hit a 6 in the previous over. Now he has gone over the top and hitting Demba for another 4. So the score has moved on to 19 for the loss of 1. Here is Demba. Comes up to bowls to Colinas. Colinas is on the back foot. This one is of a shorter length. He's on the back foot and playing the ball back along the track to Demba. No damage done. The score remains on 19 for the loss of 1. Demba turns with a skip and a hop as he comes into bowls to Colinas, who's back and playing the ball on the onside this time. We'll get 1. We'll think about a second. They decide against it as the fielder who has moved from a long on position into the mid-wicket and throws the ball back. Not a very good throw in the end, but well backed up in the outfield. So with that single, the score has moved on to 20. Brings in the batsman Akim Sanders to strike. Akim, who came in at number 3 for the second delivery of the match, because they lost Spence of the first delivery. LBW of the bowling of Lewis for naught. Demba rubs his hand in the turf so he could get a good grip of that delivery. Right arm over the wicket to bowl to Sanders, and Sanders is not ready as he pulled away, having to do some work with the pads. But all is ready now. Dead ball signaled by umpire Shamel. Umpire Shamel, local umpire here in St. Martin. Here is Demba. Comes up and bowls to the batsman Akim, who plays this one in the offside, goes for a quick single and will get it comfortably in the end as this ball was played on the offside. We see the man at short foot man running in but could not prevent that one. It was a well-judged run, well backed up in the end by his partner here, Akim. The score has moved on to 20-21 for the loss of 1. Over number 4 being bowled. The Windward Islands would want to restrict the Leeward Islands to not to a very big total here, something not more than 140 they would want. Here is a delivery hit up in the air. 1 bounce to the fielder who's posted here at the cow corner area. It was a pitched up delivery into the drive, lofted drive, and the ball goes 1 bounce to the fielder who's posted on the cow corner boundary here. So 1 more to the total. It moves on to 22. And we've seen the field coming in for the right-hander. Here is Demba. Comes up to bowls to Akim Sanders, who's down the track and loses his leg stump in the process. As this one was tossed up a bit, he played over it and losing his leg stump in the process. So the second wicket has gone down for the Leeward Islands, plunging into trouble here. 22 for the loss of 2. And is it the end of the over, Bradley? 1 more delivery left. As the Leeward Islands would have wanted Akim Sanders to stay and bat out maybe into the 10th over, building a partnership with Colinas, who's been striking the ball well, but that came receiving a delivery which was pitched up. He came down the track and he played over it, and the ball losing his leg stump in the process. So Akim Sanders is out, bowled by Demba, who picks up his first wicket. It's the end of the over. No, so we thought it was 1 more ball left. Well, the umpire was moving away, but he's been called back as no. It's the end of the over because the keeper is on this other end now. So we're gonna have we're gonna have Vino to continue the ball by ball.
Thanks a lot, Merv. So, Kofi James, the man coming into bat now. So it's Kofi James in with Cornelius. The score at the moment is, if I can just look across to 22. That's the score. 22 for 2 after 4 overs. So this is over number 5 coming up. Cornelius. It's a good delivery by Lewis and it's pushed away on the offside. There is no run. Correction, that was John. John bowls and that delivery strikes the batsman. It keeps low, but I think it struck him just outside the leg stump. That is what saved him. At the moment, quiet around the ground. The local team not playing at the moment. They'll play tomorrow. First game tomorrow is between St. Maarten and the Leeward Islands. Down the track is Cornelius, and that is taken on the volley by the fielder at mid-off. So a good bit of work there by him. And there is no run. 22 for 2, the score remains. Here is John, a slow delivery that beats the batsman and takes the outside edge down to third man for 1. So it goes to 23 now. This is over number 5. So the crowd building up here at the moment. This morning you just had a scattering, but actually guys are coming out now. They are taking their vantage positions around the ground, and they are also walking with their coolers. Delivery outside the off stump, is pushing at it, not making contact. On that occasion, James. Score is 23 for 2. This is over number 5. So really good going here by the Windward Islands. Here's John. Straight delivery that goes to mid-wicket. And there was no need to fire at the stumps there. And giving away an extra. So the Lambres cleans up. Takes the score to 24, and that's also the end of the over. So the end of 5, the score is 24 for 2.
Thank you, Vino. 25 for the loss of 2. The Leeward Islands would want to consolidate somewhat and get a good partnership going. We have James at the moment who just came in joining Cornelius, and Cornelius is on 16 not out, and he has played some lofted shots so far. He has hit the ball over the top. We've seen what Cornelius got is in the armor, so the Windwards would be mindful of that. But they are continuing with Demba, who is bowling his third over, continuing from the media center end. The crowd continues to build up here because cricket, lovely cricket, is at the Caribbean Ballpark, and you would want to see a bumper crowd here later and even tomorrow. It's going to be Demba who's going to continue as he moves into bowl to the batsman who's coming forward and playing this one on the onside. No chance of a run. The fielder at the straightish mid-wicket comes in to do the fielding. The score remains on 24. 24 for the loss of 1. Here is the bowler. Demba comes in. The batsman is advancing and is out stump. Well. He came forward. He was beaten in the air. as this one was tossed up a bit and a bit wide. He came down and played the shot, but not making contact with the ball, and a very good keeper in Stewart doing the works and cleaning him up. So Leewards has lost their third wicket. Just not they would not have want. That's what they would not have wanted. Another batsman goes, and the Windwards are all over the Leewards right now. The score 24 for the loss of 3 in over number 6 being bowled by Denver. So Denver now has bowled 2.2 overs, no middens, 11 runs, and has picked up what, 2 wickets? No, it has one. Well, 2 wickets. So yes, and the new batsman for the Leeward Islands, it looks like Terence Ward. Is that Terence Ward? It is Terence Ward. Yes, Terence Ward, who has represented the Leeward Island for a number of years, is also the captain of the team here. So the captain has come in with his team in a lot of trouble here. Well, they are in more than a spot of bother now. It's 24 for the loss of 3. Let me remind you that this is cricket, lovely cricket, by the Nagico Invitational. This is over number 6. Number 6 in progress, being bowled by Denver. We've seen Denver flight the ball. We've seen him pushing it through. Also, the last delivery, it was tossed up, and the batsman coming down the wicket, and he played all over it and was stumped by the very sharp keeper here in Stewart for the Windwards. So Terence Ward has taken his guard and is ready for action. Would want to pull his team out of trouble here. He taps and waits as Denver moves in, comes up to bowl. So Terence Ward is back and striking the ball down to a point where there is a fielder on no runs. The score remains on 24. 24 for the loss of 3. Denver wearing number 29 on his back as he moves into bowls to Ward. Ward is on the back foot and playing the ball down to a Swedish mid wicket. No chance of a run. Well, the captain Ward would want to pull his team out of trouble here because the Leeward not getting a good start. I definitely feel that's not the start that they wanted. Here is Denver. Comes in the bowls to Ward. This one is a much quicker delivery. He's on the back foot and not making contact with this one. The ball striking him way above on the 5 pad. So no damage done. The score remains on 24 for the loss of 3. Well, it's going to be Denver again with a skip and a hop as he moves into bowls to Ward. Ward is on the back foot and playing the ball back past the bowler, but down to long made off. No chance of run. Is the end of the over here with the Windwards all over the Windwards. At the end of the over, the score 24 for the loss of 3. We're gonna have Kit Cathy to come in to do some ball by ball commentary.
Thank you very much, Marvin. Good afternoon to all. The battle is very much on. And at this stage, Leeward struggling. They've already lost 3 wickets with the total now on 24. The wickets departing with the total on no score 23 and now 24 for the loss of 3. Cornelius, the opener, he's still there. And the new batsman is Terence Ward. And he would want to stick around with Cornelius for a while. But we are having some brilliant sunshine, probably the best we've seen the entire day in terms of the sunshine. And this field really looks a picture with the nice covering of grass, unlike what we've had during the Cricket for Life tournament. And of course, the evidence of the chlorophyll very much present. So it's going to be Yazram picking up the attack from the players' pavilion, and is on his way out to bowl to Cornelius, who is steering the ball out towards the backward point region. And off the third man boundary comes Denver. And in the meantime, the batsman crosses for 2. Cornelius goes by 2 to. Total has pushed on now to 26. Cornelius has how many, Bradley? So Cornelius has 18 and has been the mainstay of this Leeward Islands innings so far. Of course, it's a depleted team without the likes of Cornwall, Alzari Joseph, and Jamal Hamilton. They're out on duties for the St. Lucia Zooks as Hamilton and Cornwall. Alzari Joseph plays for the Patriots. Here's Razdam as he comes in out to bowl to Cornelius, who is beaten outside the line of the off stump. A very good delivery. and the batsman guilty of not really getting his feet across, and by then the ball would have gone through to the gloves of Emmanuel, who's been doing a very good job behind the stumps. So Wynn was very much in control after scoring 191 this morning to defeat St. Maarten. St. Maarten, when they batted, I think got to 132. Good knock from Sherwin Peters. I think he got 64. And when Wynwood's batted, Emmanuel Stewart goes down as Yazdram comes into bowl to Cornelius, who's driving the outside edge forward and has gone down to the third man region now. And I'll wait for the umpire to signal. In fact, there is no signal. So one more run to Cornelius, which takes him now to 19. And the score to 27 for the loss of 3. When the win was batted this morning, Alec Atenas, he top scored with 85, 52 balls. I think it was 5 sixes and 8 fours. Good support also came from Amris with 40 runs. But apart from that, it was nothing else that you can really write home about. But Terence Ward, the new batsman for the Leewards, takes his guard. It looks like middle and leg from here. But all seems to be well now. There is a long off, a long on. There's also a man out on the mid-wicket boundary, a very short mid-wicket. Extra cover. Man out on the cover boundary, a backward point on the third man. Here is Yazdram as he prepares to come into bowl to Ward, who's yet to get off the mark. Score 27 for the loss of 3. Here is Yazdram now as he comes into bowl to Terence Ward, who's across the off stump and gets a good delivery. He can push it back past the ball. We'll get at least one. A nice firm straight bat exhibited by Terence Ward, which takes him off the mark, and the total to 28 for the loss of 3. So the crowd definitely has grown considerably since this morning. Not where we really would want it to be in terms of support, but I would believe that tomorrow is Sunday, a day when most people would probably go to church, and when church is over, they will really come back at the ground and witness what could be a very good day of cricket, basically. And turning in the distance before us now is Yazdram from the island of Guyana. I think he has a contract with this Windward Islands team as he prepares to come into bowl to Cornelius, who has 19, the total 28 for the loss of 3. Here he is now as he comes up to bowl to Cornelius. Right arm over the wicket, and Cornelius is getting a nice delivery in which he attempts to walk off the hip, but the ball would have crashed into his pad and ricocheted in the onside. In fact, there is now the signal coming from umpire Emmanuel Stapleton, which takes the total now to 29 for the loss of 3. The batsman out so far, Louis LBW to the very first ball from Lewis, and the total is on no score. And then Hakeem Sanders, he was stumped by Stewart of the bowling of Demba. I don't have his score, but he departed with a total on 23. And when the total was on 24, Kofi James departed. Here is Yazdram as he comes into bowl to Terence Ward. And Terence Ward is driving to the offside. We have a very nice covering of grass on the field, so just one run, didn't really time it either. And he has gone on by 1-2 on the total now to 30. The lead was for the loss of 3 after some 7 overs.
Thank you, Kit Catty. Well, we've seen the Leewards losing 3 wickets, but the captain is in there. So the one to, at the moment, is having a word with his partner, Colinius, who has been hitting the ball well. Colinius has what, 19? He opened with the batsman who lost his wicket of the very first delivery of the match. Also lost 2 other partners, but he has finding the man for the crisis. The captain himself has come in and would want to play a very good inning to pull his team out of trouble here. It's Terence Ward. He's gonna take strike, and we're gonna have the bowling of Demba to continue. But Demba is bowling his 4th over. He has 3 overs, 1 maiden, 11 runs, 2 wickets. Here is Demba to bowl to Terence Ward, who's coming forward and will get a very easy single as he pushes this one into the offside. The fielder from the point area has moved to cover. So the batsman crossed for 1, bringing the left-handed batsman Cornelius to take strike from Demba. Demba is a off-spin bowler, bowling right arm off-spin. Now he's going to come around the wicket to the batsman Cornelius. There is a change in the field as someone has moved from the off to the onside. He has a slip a point extra cover as we break. Here is Demba to Bowles to Collinas, who's coming forward. The ball coming from the inner portion of the bat down on the underside, and we'll get a very easy single as this one is pushed away down to where mid-on would have been. Collinas, the bowler Demba giving chase. So an easy single to the batsman. The score has moved on to 32, and Terence Ford has scored his third run of the inning so far. The ball is back with Demba as he continues to operate from the media end. As he comes into bowls to Terence Ward this time, and he's playing the ball on the offside. Down to point. No run resulting. The score remains on 32. 32 for the loss of 3. Well, the Leewards would want to get a good score here. Here is Demba. Comes into bowls to the captain Ward, and Ward is playing this one on the offside, and we'll get a single this time, as this one was hit a little bit to the left of extra cover, who had to take about 10 paces. It was about 10 meters away from him. The batsman crossed for 1. The score has moved on to 33. 33 for the loss of 3. Brings down Collinas, the hard hitting Collinas, to take strike. Collinas have had how many boundaries so far? He has hit 1, 4, and a 6 in his inning. He's on 20. Demba is going to continue. Here is Demba, comes up to bowl Collinas, who's advancing and hitting the ball on the onside down to a deep mid wicket, and will get an easy single in the end. Well, he was down the track. This one was flighted up. He came in and tried to hit this one, hit over the mid wicket area, but the ball gets in the inner portion of the bat and goes down to the fielder at the mid-wicket boundary. One easy single here for the batsman, who moves on to 21. The score 34 it is for the loss of 3. Here is Demba into ball to Ward. Ward is 10 this one away. We'll get one. We'll think about a second as they come in for the second. The fielder at the point area had to hustle himself as the batsman was coming in for the second run. It's the end of the over here. The score after how many overs bowled so far? 8 overs. The score 36 for the loss of 3. We're going to have more from Kit Kati.
36 for the loss of 3. Cornelius continues to bat well. He has 21. And with him, Terence Ward, who just arrived at the crease. He has 5. And 8 overs gone. And the Windwards, as I've been saying earlier, is very much in control of this match between themselves and the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. And of course, this is just, you're listening to coverage of the Nagico Invitational Cup, of course, organized by the St. Maarten Cricket Association. Congrats to all involved. And has been a kaleidoscope of colors here on this ground. Chlorophyll very evident in the grass as a result of the rains we've been having recently. The only downside to that would be the wicket would be on the slow side. So you've not really seen the batsman really have that opportunity to play freely through the line. Here is Yazram as he comes up now to bowl to Cornelius. Cornelius is whipping the ball off the pad out towards backward square, where it looks like the fielder does the fielding. So he has gone to 22 and the score to 37 now for the loss of 3. We're over number 9. And after this, there's 11 overs remaining in this encounter. They will need to get anything in excess of 160, 170 to give Windwards something to think about from what we've seen so far in the earlier game. St. Maarten will be expected to improve on their performance. The Leewards, of course, would have players that would combine from St. Kitts, Nevis and Antigua, so it is expected that their bowling would be a little bit stiffer than St. Maarten's. So let's wait and see what will transpire when that time comes around. Yazram from the commentary box plays pavilion and is on his way to bowl to Terence Ward, who's driving back past the bowler with a very straight bat, gets his 6th run, and the total advances by 1 out to 38 for the loss of 3. And Terence Ward, who has been a very important player for the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. I think he has come into the team more as a bowler, but as every time he got the opportunity to bat, he has made the most of it. He's not yet to score 100, but I think I've seen him got at least 2 half centuries. Would want to build on that and go on to get that 3-figure mark. Yazram to bowl to Cornelius, who's down the track, and when he swings, misses. And how did that ball hit the stumps? Well, probably only the one in heaven would know, but it's a leg by signal, which takes the score now to 37. 39, sorry. 39 for the loss of 3. And Yazram so far has bowled 1.3 overs, no maiden, 7 runs, and has yet to take a wicket. The very first match, he picked up 2 wickets, that of Williams and, of course, Adam Stanford, whom he had bowled. Is on his way now to bowl to Ward. And Ward gets a delivery, a Yorker length delivery, but just missing the line of the off stump. Had that been lined up with the off stump, it could have been very interesting, but it was not to be, as he slowly makes his way back to the top of his mark. So there is a long on, a long off. There's also a man out in the corner region, the square leg, a short backward square. Third man point. There's also extra cover and a man out on the cover boundary as Yazram turns and prepares to come up to bowl to Ward once more. And right arm over the wicket, and Ward is beaten outside the line of the off stump. Very good delivery there from Yazram. And one that touched down just outside the line of the off stump and curled back and into the gloves of Stewart. Of course, he was the West Indies under-19 captain in the 2018 World Cup. The team did not do too well, but, you know, it is good to have these youngsters here before our very eyes. Yazram, another member of that team, comes up to bowl to Ward, and Ward is driving back to the bowl, who got a hand to it, knocked it square in the where it looks like the captain and Ambrose did the fielding, and there is no run. So at the end of the 9th over, the score 37 for the loss of 3, 21, 22 is Cornelius, and 6 is Terence Ward.
Thank you, Kit Kati. Well, the Leeward are progressing a little bit slowly, a little bit. They would have wanted to score a lot more runs than they have right now, but the score 39 for the loss of 3 after 9 overs. So we have 11 more overs, but we have one batsman who's been in from the start, which is Colinius, and been joined by the captain who's taking his time. Terence Ward, you would say, he can hit a long ball, but would want to settle before he moves into second gear. But we have the Windward Islands now making a bowling change, because Demba, who was operating from the media center end, bowl his allotted overs. So a new bowler's gonna take up the attack from the media center end. It's gonna be Larry Edwards. Larry Edwards, a man from the Helen of the West, St. Lucia. He was the only bowler who got some stick, you could say, against the St. Maarten team. Some 33 runs was scored of his four overs. But it's the Leeward Island this time. He has to contend with Colinius, who has scored how many runs so far? He has scored 22. Here is the bowler Larry Edwards into Colinius, and he's been greeted with a shot that is played all the way down to the mid-wicket boundary. The fielder is down on the whitish mid-wicket area. He throws the ball back to the bowler. The score has moved on to 40. 40 for the loss of 3. Brings down Terence Ward to take strike. The field for Larry Edwards is a point, a deep cover. A man coming up to the extra cover position, a long off. That's the offside field. But he has a slip in place in the captain embrace. Here is Larry Edwards, comes up to bowls to Terence Ward, who's hitting the ball over the bowler's head. 1 bounce, 2 bounces where a fielder is placed down at the long on boundary and sends the return back to the bowler. So Terence Ward get 1. 1 more to the total, moves to 41 for the loss of 3. That's the Leeward Islands Hurricane in this Nagico Invitational Tournament 2020. We set for 20 overs. Larry Edwards tosses the ball from hand to hand. As he moves in past the umpire, comes up to bowl. The batsman is advancing and this time hits the ball in the air, and there is a fielder settling on it and he takes the catch. So you see Colinius goes, as this one was floated up on the off stump. He came down the wicket and hitting the ball, get a lot of elevation but not distance, and the fielder down at the mid-wicket boundary takes a comfortable catch. So Leeward Island has lost their 4th wicket with the score here on 41. 41 for the loss of 4 Leeward Islands. Well, for the trouble, but yeah, the captain is still in. The ball was caught by Atanaz on the boundary, who took a very comfortable catch, because it was high up in the air. He took his time, he judged it well, and took it very comfortably in the end. So that is the demise of Colinius. He got 23. Cut Atenes bowled Larry Edwards for 23. So the Leeward Islands now with the score on 41 for a loss of 4. The new batsman is Phillips. That's Devon Phillips. Delvin Phillips is the new batsman for the Leeward Islands. Well, they would have to come together here with he would have to come together here with the captain. I think the batsman crossed in the process while the ball was in the air. So Terence Ford will be taking strike. Larry Edwards was one of the leading wicket takers last year for the Windward Islands in the first in the first class, matches here. He was one of the leading wicket takers for the Windward Islands. I beg your pardon. Here is Larry Edwards to Terence Ward, who's flashing this one. This one coming up from the outer edge and goes down to a third man area. They will get two comfortable runs as the ball is thrown back. A very good throw to the keeper before the batsman cross comfortable for the 43rd run for the Leeward Islands team. So Terence Ward losing the partner Colinius. I think he would want to move into second gear because the overs are going and going fast. Here is Larry Edwards. Moves into bowls to Ward. Ward is up the back foot and playing this one down to backward point area. The fielder under cover boundary moves to his left. Would have think for about the second run, but no, he was as the throw comes into the keeper's end. So one more to the total. The score has moved on to 44 now for the loss of for the Leeward Islands. So the new batsman comes in to take strike. It is Phillips. Phillips is gonna receive from Larry Edwards, who is with him this time. He's on the back foot and playing the ball, beating cover, and will get one. The sweeper comes off the boundary, who sends a poor return to the keeper, but well backed up by Embrace in the end, so no damage done. It's the end of Larry's first over. A successful over. The score now 45 for a loss of 4 after 10 overs. We're going to bring Kit Kat here.
45 for the loss of 4 wickets. Leewards wouldn't have asked for anything worse than this. Windwards, if you were to tell them at the beginning of this game that it would be 44 for 4, they'll say we'll have that any day. And of course, the Leewards has a lot of batting to do to get the total to a respectable one to challenge the Windward Islands Volcanoes later this afternoon. But the Volcanoes, on the other hand, would want to continue to take wickets and keep the Leewards under pressure. And it's going to be Delvin Phillip will be taking up strike. It looks as though Lewis is coming back. So Lewis is coming back to bowl to Phillip once more. Phillip has just gotten a contract with the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. I wish him well. To me, he is a good player. One who used to do a bit more bowling, but I always felt that he could have batted more than he can bowl. Well, we'll have to wait and see what role he's going to play in the Leeward setup. Lewis is on the top of his mark down at the players' pavilion, and as he prepares to come into bowl to Phillip, who look like he's having his guard. It looks like a middle stump guard to me. So 10 overs are gone, and here is Lewis to commence over number 11 as he comes up to bowl to Phillip. Phillip is on the front foot defending out towards Ambrose, the Windward Islands captain there, extra cover, and there's no additional run to the score. It's kept on 45 for the loss of 4. Of course, the first wicket going down without a run on the board. We've seen that happen on 2 occasions. And I remember that during the Sanford T20 tournament, Cricket for Life tournament that was played here, and Kyle Louis departed with the very first delivery, bowled by a beauty. Well, here he is now, turning the ball in the onside. Will get an easy single, does Phillips. And he has gone to 2 on the score to 46 for the loss of 4. Windward Islands very much is in charge. Leeward Islands Hurricanes is not as dangerous as a hurricane would suggest. They're just a mere breeze as they are playing here this afternoon. And tomorrow morning, it will be the Windward Islands I mean, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes coming up against the St. Martin Pelicans. And in the end, should the Windwards go on to win this match this afternoon, they will wait to play the winner of tomorrow's morning's match. So here is Lewis as he comes up now to bowl to Terence Ward, who has 10. Ward gets a delivery down the onside, which he attempts to whip off the pad. In the end, not making contact. And Emmanuel Stewart behind the stump skips across to his left, keeps it within his grasp. And there's no additional run to the total. So there is a short third man, a backward point, extra cover. There's a man out sweeping on the cover boundary, long off, long on, mid-wicket square leg. And a player right behind the 45-degree angle. Here is Lewis as he comes up now to bowl to the batsman in Ward, who's off the back foot and pulls it out towards the man coming off the long on boundary, and will earn himself yet another single, which takes his score now to 11. And the score has pushed on now to 48 or 47? 47. So Ward has gone to 12. And Philip looks up and sees that Lewis is on his way. In fact, he loses his run. Will have to turn as he does now and prepares to come into bowl to Philip. Very strong to the offside is Philip. Here is Lewis now as he bowls, and Philip is get that delivery. He goes on the back foot and looking to play square of the wicket in the offside. No contact made. Emmanuel Stewart collecting well, and the pressure is really on. Leewards, of course, have played fairly well in the recently concluded 4-day West Indies tournament. I think they came third last year, could have easily come second, but lost their way in the latter part of that tournament. Here is Lewis as he comes up now to bowl to Philip. And Philip gets a delivery which he goes back and pulls out to the long on region. He'll get at least one. And after long off boundary comes Yazram, who does the fielding. Philip has gone to 3. And the total to 48 now for the loss of 4 after 10 overs.
Thank you, Kit Kati. 11 overs gone. The score 48 for the loss of 4. It's more than a spot of bother for the Leeward Islands Hurricane. They would have wanted to be in the region close to 100 by now. After 11 overs, they would have wanted a lot more than this. So the Windward Islands Volcano, you could say, is largely in charge here at the Caribbean Ballpark. And we must say that the crowd continues to build as the sun in all its glory is shining down on the Caribbean Ballpark. The action is going to continue from the media center end with Edwards, who's been operating from this end. He's going to bowl his second over, and the batsman on strike is Phillips. Phillips is on strike. Philip is on 3 of 5 deliveries faced so far. Here is Edward, comes up the bowls to Philip, who's playing this one off the outside edge, beat the footman, will go close to the boundary. The ball is inched close to the boundary as the fielder dives and make the stop, and they come back for 2. So 2 comfortable runs to Phillips. The score has moved on to 50 now. The 50 is up for the Leeward Islands. 50 in 11.1 overs. As the action is going to continue with Edwards. Left arm around the wicket he's operating, and here is a fielding change as the fielder who was posted here at the short mid wicket has moved on to the offside, and you've seen the fielder who's at the mid wicket boundary is moving away to long on, and long on the mid wicket is the square leg has gone to a mid wicket. Here is Edward, comes up to balls to Philip, who's playing this one down to the long on position, and will get 1 as this one was short and he was on the back foot and playing this one down to long on. The score has moved on to 51 for the loss of 4. Over number 12 in progress. Being bowled here by Larry Edwards for the Hurricanes. Not for the Hurricanes, for the Volcanoes. Leeward Windward's Volcanoes. Here is a ball outside the off stump. Beating point and will go into the boundary for 4. It was a short ball outside the off stump. The batsman was on the back foot and he played it well, beating the point man here and goes all the way down to the boundary for 4. So a welcome boundary for the Leeward Islands here. The score has moved on to 55 with that boundary. 55 for the loss of 4. So Terence Ward would want to move into second gear. He's on to 16 now. 16 not out. 16 from 20 deliveries so far. Yes. He's batted for 28 minutes. The ball is back with Edwards as he's going to moves into bowl toward this time and to this delivery. What is on the back foot again, but playing this one down on the ground. And the fielder at point diving away, but not making the stop. The ball goes down to the man who's sweeping on the cover boundary. An easy single forward who moves on to 17. And the score has moved on to 56 for the loss of 4. The sun continued to shine here on the Carib Lumber Ballpark. Edwards operating with a rag, wiping the ball to get a good grip of it. Left arm around the wicket, comes up to balls to the batsman, hitting over the top, over extra cover, and the ball will beat the fielder here on. No, he makes a brilliant stop as he throws the ball back. The batsman is coming back for his second, and that was well fielded there on the boundary. It was getting close to the boundary, and he dives and make a very good stop and throws the ball back to the keeper. The score has moved on to 58 for the loss of 4. 58 for 4. Over number 12 being bowled by Larry Edwards. And he's going to make some adjustment to the offside field here. He's asking the point to move a little further to the right. Here is Edwards. As Philip taps away. Comes into balls to Philip. Philip is on the back foot and playing the ball down to a very short mid-wicket. And we get a single as Embrace, the captain of the Volcanoes. Well, it's the end of the over here after 12 overs. The Leeward Islands Hurricane 59 for the loss of 4, with Phillips not out on 9 and Terence Ward not out on 17.
Thank you very much, Marvin. They're scoring the runs are just under 5 and over. Of course, 12 overs already gone. The total 59. And sunshine, we have lost the sunshine somewhat. So there is some rain about. I hope that it can stay away and allow play to be completed today. Not only today, but tomorrow as well. And it looks like Yazram is going to pick up the attack from the players' pavilion end. Before this, he's bowled 2 overs, no maidens, and has taken none for 7. Good economical figure so far from him. And he would need that to continue. So he would have an allotment of at least 2 more overs to bowl. But I can tell you the Leewards continuing to struggle. They have 59 now for the loss of 4. And here is Yazram as he comes up now to bowl to Philip, who advances. And when he gets there, drives without any timing or placement straight to Ambrazer extra cover, who shies and knocks down the stumps. But the batsman getting his bat back down just in time. So in the end, no damage done. And umpire Box will have to come in to repair the broken stumps. And he will be doing that in a matter of seconds. So good performance from the Windwards. And of course, they're really showing that they can be a force to be reckoned with in regional cricket. And they have come here today and really showed that. So Yazram is have the ball in his hand, and he'll be bowling to Philip. 59 for the loss of 4. Third man, short third man, a backward point. Cover right back on the boundary. And there's also extra cover in Ambrose, who took a very brilliant catch to see the back of Peters in the very first match. Really dived full length to his left and collected the ball with both hands. But in the end, got up and showed appreciation to Peters for the score, the manner in which he batted. Really strikes some ferocious boundaries. The first 6 that he struck really went a long, long way out of the park. And unfortunately did not get too much support from none of the other players. Carty got 27, and I think someone else would have gotten some double scores as well. But in the end, Windwards won very easily. But there's a slight hold-up in play here. There could be something to do with the ball, as the third umpire, Lynette, now makes her way on the field of play. And of course, the captain, Ambrose, and Yazram is having a chat with Emmanuel, Stapleton, and the Shamir Box. And so I would assume in a matter of a minute or 2, we'll be having a change of ball. And as I speak, I think this has been a very good performance so far by the Windward Islands Volcanoes. Leewards have not done as well as one would expect them to do, and neither did St. Maarten. So you're not missing any cricket. And of course, you were listening to the Nagico Invitational Cup between these 3 teams.
Thanks a lot, Keith. 59 for 4. It's good to be here again with you guys. Just to quickly run through the scoreboard, we had Jacobs leg before to Lewis without scoring. Cornelius, he was caught by Athenes of Edward for 23. Saunders was bowled by Demba for 4. James was caught stumped by Edward of Demba for 1. Ward is there on 17, not out together with Phillips on 9. So at the moment it's 59 for 4. I think we had a replacement of the ball, and umpire Lynette, who has all the balls, brought it out, and one was chosen.
So Yazram is going to continue the attack. He'll be bowling to Philip, who has 9. Of course, with him, Ward has 17, and the total 59 now for the lots of 4. And from the players' pavilion, and comes up to bowl to Philip, and Philip is driving out toward extra cover. Will this be a chance of a run out? In fact, Ambrose misses the stumps, but had he really hit the stumps, it would have been a loud appeal. But in the end, Philip got home, so all is well that ends well. Fortune really favors the brave, and he has gone on by 1 out of 10. And the score to 60 for the loss of 4. The batsman out so far, Louis, Akeem, Sanders, Kofi James, and Cornelius. And they departed with the scores on 0, 23, 24, and 41. Here is Yazram, probably around 20 years old, comes up to bowl to Terence Ward, who is driving. In fact, the ball peeled out of the portion of the outer portion of the bat out to what would have been a scourged up man. I will get at least 1, which takes his personal score now to 18, and the score to 61, the Leewards, for the loss of 4 in over number 12. Over number 13. So 13 overs are in progress, and Yazram so far has bowled 2.3 and has taken none for 9 as he comes up now to bowl to the batsman Philip, who pushes down the ground, will get at least 1 more run. Takes his personal score to 11 and the score to 62. And the Leewards really far behind where they really should be. After this, another 7 more overs remaining. And they will need to get in excess of, my view, 160 runs to give the Leewards anything to think about. Here is Yazram as he comes up now to bowl to Ward. And Ward gets a delivery that he attempt to whip up the pad wide of the leg stump, wide signal by the umpire, which advances the total now by 1 to 63. And Terence Ward will be very disappointed with his effort there, would have wanted to make better use of that, but he didn't. As he now goes back into his stance, as the sun peeps out from behind the clouds once more. Here is Yazram as he comes up to bowl to Ward, and Ward is driving down to the man on the long on boundary, who gets an accommodating bounce, collects it very quickly, and has a very strong return back into the field of play, not before Ward gets his 19th run, and Leeward Islands Hurricanes has gotten 64 now for the loss of 4. So, of course, this crowd continues to build. There's a lot of stickers advertising around the boundary boards. Yazram bowling to Philip. A lot of appeal, but the one would have probably bounced and go over the top of the stumps. And that has brought up the end of the 13th over. And the score, 64 for the loss of 4.
Thanks a lot, Keith. 64 for 4. So, good performance by the Windward Islands. I'm tempted to say boring cricket, but I won't. I want to say that the Windward Islands have really played well today. They have bowled well. They have bowled in good areas. And, they've really kept them in check. 64 for 4 after 13. And there you can see a lovely shot of the Century Hills. And just on that hill, you have the zipline industry taking advantage of it. And Bradley says that he will go just a little later on today. and lovely, lovely scenery here. It's so picturesque being here at this ground. I thought that the last time what took away from the scenes here was the color of the outfield. So we have full color now. It's like moving from a black and white television to colored. And all of a sudden, this place has transformed so beautifully. It's one of the more picturesque grounds you can go at. Of course, the Century Hills does so much to add to that natural beauty that is in Saint Martin. And a couple of days ago, when a photo was sent on maqtv of the ground, Sofian Kama, operations manager, thought it was photoshopped. Poor guy. But he's here in reality to see how beautiful it is, and kudos to the ground staff who has really done a wonderful job. So the action continues out there on an outfield that could be described as a billiards type like, and it's 65 for 4, 20 to Ward. Phillips is on 11, and Edward in his third over 1 for 18. This has worked away down to deepest, widest long off for 1. So that scores on now to score rifles on to 66 for 4. So they're really keeping a tight leash on the proceedings here at the moment. You look around the ground, you see the crowd building up. This is a big clash, Windwards versus Leewards. Of course, tomorrow afternoon for the finals, we expect a huge crowd as we had for the Adam Sanford cricket. There's a chance for a run out here, but he reaches in, and that takes Ward on to 21. He was running to the danger area. Phillips is on 12, 67 for 4. 1 delivery to go in Edwards' third over. He has kept things tight like the Caribbean economy. 1 for 20 at the moment. Here's Edwards, he bowls, and leaning back on that occasion is Phillips trying to get it through the offside. He can't, and it's the end of the over. A mingy spell, a stingy spell by Edward. 3 overs, 1 for 20. The latest score here at the Carib Lumber Ball Park, it's 67 for 4. At the end of 14 overs, the Leeward Islands Hurricanes against Windward's Volcanoes.
All to say a bit more about the zipliner that is before our very eyes. I've been told that it's the highest zipliner anywhere in the world. I've gotten that, of course, from one of the operators, and it spans from 0 to 45 feet. It's from 0 to 11,000 feet at a 45-degree angle. So don't go back to Trinidad and Tobago before you go up and have a ride on that Venue. This is the second time you're here. Probably I think they should make you an honorary citizen by giving you a passport for this country. So here is James to bowl to Ward, who's on the front foot and square driving out towards the backward point region. And as a result of a very heavy and slow outfield, the ball has not gone across the boundary, but he has gotten 3 runs, which takes his total now to 24 for... He has gone to 24 on the total now to 70. 70, the Windward Islands Hurricanes, Leeward Islands Hurricanes, that is, playing very much locked in battle against the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And recently we've had the passage of Hurricane Dorian, which did so much damage to the Bahamian Islands. And of course I would have passed somewhere through the Windward Islands on its way down, but did some extreme damage in the islands of the Bahamas, and luckily didn't here. The last major hurricane to pass through here did considerable damage to St. Maarten. Here is James as he comes up now to bowl to Philip. Philip is hitting this high and hard over the top of long, and it's gone for 6. So it's a shot of confidence and class, and that would have done his confidence a world of good. He's gone now from 12 to 18 with 1 shot, and the total has pushed on now to 76 for the loss of 4. So the bowler is Maxine, and he has been roughly treated by Philip on that occasion. So Philip's getting his first boundary, hitting high over the top of Cow Corner really, and that's gone away for 6 runs. Philip plays in the local tournament here for the Winnie Conquerors. He captains that team and has always had a good performance. Before, he used to do a lot of bowling and batting, but in recent times he have been focusing on his batting, and probably after getting the contract with the Leeward Islands Hurricane, he might need to do both once more. Here is Maxwell as he comes out to bowl to Philip wide of the off stump. Umpire signals wide. The total will advance by 1 to 77. And we are in, over number 15. Maxwell turns to the top of his mark as he prepares to come into bowl to Philip, who is having a change of guard. Looks like an off-stump guard he's taken from here, realizing that the bowler is bowling the ball full and wide, and he would want to get a few inches closer to that. Here is Maxwell as he comes up now to bowl to Philip. And Philip is getting another wide delivery. He's driving out towards the man coming off the long off boundary. Has been pulled across to his left at extra cover, but not before the batsman crossed for a single, which takes Philip now to 19 and the score to 78 for the loss of 4. The batsman out so far for the Leewards, of course, Louis Akeem Sanders. Then we had Kofi James and Jamie Cornelius, and they all departed in very quick succession. It was a possession to and from the players' pavilion, one that batsmen or teams wouldn't want to encounter. When that happens, you're normally on the back foot. Maxwell is on his way to bowl, this time to Terence Ward, who has 24. And Terence Ward is getting another good delivery, a Yorker length delivery that he managed to dug out. And in the end, no additional run to the score is kept on 78 for the loss of 4. And this battle is very much on. Of course, the Windward Islands Volcanoes having the upper hand here. It was a bit more challenging in the very first match that we've had between Volcanoes and the St. Maarten Pelicans. Here is Maxwell as he comes up to bowl to Terence Ward once more. And Ward is driving down to the long on region. Will get at least 1. They're now turning for the second. And as a result of the fumble we've had with the fielder coming off the long on boundary, aiding and abetting the second run, which takes the total now to 80 for the loss of 4. Ward has now gone to 26. And very cool conditions for cricket now. The sun out, but not in its brilliance. Of course, it has been a decent day for the players in the middle. Not too much sunshine. Here is Maxwell as he comes up to bowl to Terence Ward once more, who is driving, in fact, out towards the man along off boundary, who skips across the extra cover to do the fielding and getting rid of the ball very quickly. Very good return. Good cricket all told from the Windward Islands Volcanoes there. The total has advanced to 81. So 1 run to Ward, which takes him now to 27. And the score after some 15 overs, the score is 81 for the loss of 4 after more from Vinud. You will have the voice of Marvin once more.
Thanks a lot, Keith. And after 15, it's 81 for 4. And they'll have to do extremely well to get up to around 150 or so, which may still be inadequate against a good Windward Islands batting attack. So at the moment, they have 2 set batsmen in there. Ward is on 27. And Phillips is on 19. Ward has faced 31 balls. Philip 17. So they're well set in there. They should by now have an idea as to the bounce and the pace of the track. This is, of course, the Leewards' first game today. Windwards would have played earlier on the track. So that's the situation at the moment. It's a plastic bag. Blows across the field. Just at the Carrefour supermarket, which is Sophian's favorite shopping area. There are no plastic bags given out, which is really commendable. His delivery outside the off stump, cut away, lovely shot for 4. Given room, he played it very late, so he was able to get it to the left of the fielder at point and to the right of the fielder at backward point. He treaded like he was treading a needle with the precision of a surgeon, and that one went for 4. So at the moment, that takes the score along now to 85, and every run badly needed now at the moment. 85 for 4. This is over number 16 in progress, and they're looking to see how much they can eke out. I guess after this over, they may well look to extend their arms a bit. Down the track, he's doing it from now. A big wind up and driving through the offside in the air over a wide long off for 6. Magnificent shot there on that occasion. And the score has now gone on to 91 for 4. Ward is on 37. And Phillips, he moves on now to 19. At the moment, 91 for 4. This is over number 16 in progress. And what a shot. Delivery pitched up outside the off stump. He just cleared the front foot and was able to lift it through the offside. One of the most difficult shots that you can play, but he played it well. So the action continues here. And he's waiting. 2 set batsmen in there at the moment. Ward doing the damage. He's on 37. He comes in again and bowls. Ward cuts again. And there is protection down there on the cover boundary. So it's only 1 at the moment. The score goes on now to 92 for 4. Ward on 38. Phillips 19. And this is Edwards' final over. He's been roughed up. He has been good before this. 3 overs for 20. He's now been roughed up. This one takes the outside edge, and it is out. Is he out? Yes, he is. So the fielder at point ran behind the fielder at backward point and took the catch. That one peeled off the outside edge. Obviously, the ball would have been spinning away from the right-hander. He again was looking to go square. The extra bounce did him on that occasion, and he is out caught. So, what it is, he goes for a 38 of 34 deliveries with 1 6 and 2 4s. In fact, it's a correction. It's Philip who is leaving. Philip goes for 19 of 17 balls with 1 6. So Philip goes 92 for 4. This is over number 16 in progress. In fact, it's 92 for 5. Yeah, we could change the wicket, yeah. 92 for 5 now. That's what. 92 for the loss of 5. So at the moment, it's a 93 for 5. And this is over number 16. And Big Merv will take the bowling.
Thank you, Vino. 16 overs gone. The score 93 for a loss of 5. So half of the team has gone. There is a bowler who is Lewis is into the attack. The ball is clipped away into the mid-wicket boundary. One bounce and over the boundary gone for 4. So lovely shot. A ball was pitched on the pads and Terence Ward whipping it away down to mid-wicket for 4. 4 good runs. 4 good-looking runs for Terence Ward. He has pushed up his total, his tally too. I will get his tally in a moment, but it... Yeah, no, for Terence Ward. 38, he has moved his tally to 38. 38 good runs. Terence Ward, the captain of the Leeward Islands Hurricane. He came in when the team was in trouble and playing somewhat, we would say, a recovery effort here. And playing well. The score has moved on to 97. 97 for a loss of 5. The bowler Lewis. Lewis is back into the attack. As he comes into bowls to Terence Ward, who's driving, and the ball is spinning off the outer edge of the chance for a catch, and he is gone. Well, taken by Larry Edwards in the cover area. The ball was pitched up above middle stump, and the ball, he tried to turn it on the onside, taking the leading edge, spoon up in the air, and Larry Edwards filling that cover. He had to run back a couple paces and take a very good catch, as this one was difficult to him because it was spinning around in the air, as you could see, pointing out to his teammates right now. So we have lost Terence Ward. Leeward Island has plunged into further trouble with losing the captain, Terence Ward. Cut Larry Edwards of Lewis for 38. So the score now 97 for a loss of 6. Well, Lewis... Terence Ward out. Lewis has bowled 2.1 overs, no midden, 8 runs, and has taken, this is his second wicket, as he's taken his second wicket. So Lewis has taken his second wicket of the innings, getting a wicket of the very first delivery, and now coming back with a spell and taking his second wicket. We had Terence Ward, the captain, caught by Larry Edwards at point for 38, a well-played 38. Well, there's a new batsman coming in. The new batsman, Shannon, what's his name, Bradley? The new batsman is wearing what number? The batsman wearing number 21 on his back is taking strike. Harris Lewis comes up to bowl to the batsman, gets a slower delivery, and there's a chance for a run out. But choosing the wrong end, throwing the ball to the bowler's end, where the batsman has crossed for a very easy single in the end, taking the score to 98 now for a loss of 6. I can't tell you the name of the new batsman yet. Bradley is working on it. It's White. White, the new batsman, is taking a middle guard, the middle stump guard from umpire Stapleton.